So we're starting our walk cycle lesson. Before we start practicing, I just want to go over really quick. A walk cycle is basically a series of frames or illustrations that you draw in sequence that you loop to create the animation of the walking character. And people use walk cycles because it saves time rather than reanimating the walking over and over. You're just animating 2 strides and then you can repeat it and use it as a cycle. So first I want to go over a couple of the positions. We have the contact position, down or recoil, passing, and up or the high point. So those are the 4 main key positions that you want to remember when you're making a walk cycle. You always want to have a contact point, the recoil, the passing, and the high point. Okay, and just notice that the arms are swinging opposite the legs and the elevation of the character changes as he walks. So when he recoils, he's bending his knees, he's a little lower, a little closer to the ground, and when he is at its high point, he's elevated up a little more. You can see his from these lines here that his head is higher up there. So that's always what you want to remember. Whenever you make a walk cycle, it's probably just best, especially when you're just starting to pull something like this up and use as a guide. So I'm going to go over our practice exercise. What you want to do is I'm just going to hide this right now because we don't need that. Actually, I'm going to get rid of it. I can't, it's the only layer. So what you need to do first is you're going to import, and I'm going to import something to the library. I saved this picture earlier. If you look up Google Images walk cycle, it'll be probably the 2nd or 3rd line down. And it is a picture from the Animator Survival Guide, and it's just a bunch of walk cycles, 2-legged walk cycles. It goes right into my library, you can see, and I can just pull it right in there. Oops, let's make a new layer. There we go. So anyways, this is the image we're looking for. Again, it gives you a lot of different kinds of 2-legged walk cycles. We're going to just focus on the walk for now, and then when you get better at it, you can try some of the others. I'm going to position this because there's 2 kinds of walk cycles. For this tutorial, I'll just show you how to make the figure walk across the stage, and we'll switch it up a little for the next lesson. But I'm going to position him halfway off the stage, that way he starts walking on. So I'm going to put him right there. You can see I lined it up. When I have it the way I want it, I'm going to just lock the layer. So see the little lock right under there. Now I can't move it around. I'm going to get rid of this layer. I'm going to make a new layer, okay? And we're going to use this to trace just because this is our first time learning a walk cycle. So when you actually do your project, you'll be just using it as a guide. You won't be tracing. So I'm going to go to the brush tool. You can use the pencil tool too, whatever works best for you. And pick a color that is going to be different from the black so that you can actually see it. So, I'll pick red. So what you're going to do is you just want to trace over the first figure, and I'm just kind of brushing this. It might work better to zoom in too so that you can see it a little better and trace it a little more accurately. But okay, so I have my first figure. Now I want to make, because I'm making a cycle, I want to make it in a different timeline. So I'm going to make this a symbol. I'm going to select this, so whatever I have on the page is selected. Modify, convert to symbol. Okay, and you can name it, I'll say walk cycle 1. And make sure it's a graphic, press OK. And you can see the blue boxes around it, that means it's a symbol. And now this is the part you have to remember, it's a little different. You want to make the cycle is separate from the timeline, so we're going to double click into it. And you can see up here, usually it's just scene 1. Now you can see that we're in that symbol, walk cycle 1. That's just what I named the symbol. We're in it. You can see it's the only thing in the timeline now. Everything else is kind of a lower opacity because we're just focusing on this. We're in the symbol. So, and you can keep track of what symbol you're in based on looking at your library, walk cycle 1, because if you get a lot of symbols, they'll eventually add up here. So I have my first frame. I want to put in my second frame. So F6, I'm going to delete because I want to draw the next figure now. I'm going to go into my brush tool and I'm going to draw this next figure. You can spend some more time tracing it, make it look a little nicer. Let me actually zoom in too, because, okay. So now I have my first, I have my second, but look how much it jumps. We want to line it up so the motion's continuing fluid. So what I'm going to do is go down to my onion skin here, if you remember, turn that on, and I'm going to go to my second, the one I want to move, and selection tool, and bring that over, and I want to match that heel up with the other heel. It would look a lot better if my image actually came out nice, but so now his toe is going down, and you can see he's starting to move forward. Okay, so now I can F6 and delete because I want to get a new one. Let me draw the third one. So draw this third one really quick. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select what I want by pressing that keyframe and just move it over, and I'm matching his heel up again. Sometimes you'll end up matching his toe up, like right here. You may want to match that toe with that toe. So, but you're going to repeat this until you do all of these, okay? But then if you look, this is our last pose, okay? And this is our beginning pose. This to that is too much of a jump. So what's happening here is we didn't finish 2 full strides. We did about 1.5 strides. So if you want, or what you're going to have to do is repeat this 4th and 5th figure right here, because if you can see, this is same as that, just opposite leg. So that would be to continue. These are the 2 figures between our finish and our start. So the difference is when you redraw it, see how, here I'll just show you. So say I'm drawing the 5th figure, okay? I want to switch the legs because technically this one is passing through, not that one. So the only thing that you're going to do different is, rather than put this line here, you can just leave it and then put the line there. So that looks like the back leg, okay? So that's just pretty much how you switch it. Actually, you're going to have to switch the arms too. I didn't even think about that. So you just have to switch the arms the same way. So this one would be in the front, and then you wouldn't see that one. The body would be in the way. Okay, so I started one since this kind of takes a little while, and here's my frames. He's walking there, you can see. Now I need to make it into a cycle. I have 1 cycle here, but I want to continue it. So I'm going to click my first keyframe. I'm going to hold Shift and click my oops, and click my last keyframe, so I have all of them, okay? Now I want to hold Alt or Option on the keyboard, and I can pull these over to the next open keyframe, which is 11, and let go, and it copied and moved all of those keyframes. Now, the only thing is they're in the same exact spot as all of these, and we need to move it forward so that the character moves forward. So what I'm going to do is right down here, it looks very similar to the onion skin, it's the Edit Multiple Frames. I'm going to click that and just only have it over the frames you want to change, which are the ones you just copied, okay? So those are the only ones selected. You're going to go to the selection tool and draw a big square over it. That way they're all selected. After you do this, extend this over one so that when you move it, you can see that last one that you wanted to match up with. So now I want to match this one up with that one. Okay, because if I didn't have it there, I wouldn't know where to match it up with. If I did this, it just turns into a big mess. So you select just those, then you move it so that you can match it up. Okay, so now if I get rid of this Edit Multiple Frames, you can see it continues. And then I can do the same thing. So let's see, I had 11 to hold Shift to 20, hold Option, move them, Edit Multiple Frames. I just want what I have selected. Select, and then add one, move it. Let's see where to go. Oops, I'm just going to go back a couple spots. Okay, so there we go. There, no. I went back too far. But you know what I mean. So I'm going to just really quick again. Just that. There we go. And then I move it to where it needs to be. Okay, so you're going to have to do this a couple times for the figure to actually walk across the page. You should probably do it from here until it gets off the page. But I'm just going to move on. So now I'm done editing this symbol. Say I had it off the page. I'm going to go back into my scene and let's hide this. Okay. Here's my symbol. Let's take it to frame 70. I'm going to press F5, or I pressed F6, but you should press F5. Okay, and F5 will extend it. So now, if I play it, you can see he's walking. Exactly what's in the cycle is happening, but you don't have a million of these little keyframes, which just makes it confusing when you're trying to edit. If you just need to edit it, you simply double click back in and you can edit the symbol. So you can see at one point I had, let's see how many frames did I have in there. I had 31 frames. So at 31 frames, that's when it's going to start repeating, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're extending your symbol. So that's pretty much how to do the basic walk cycle startup practice project. So I'll keep posting some more stuff for the project. Okay.